What's up, YouTube? We back with a whole nother video here in the house of the mighty lit one. We appreciate all the love and support y'all been sending our way in these recent days, and we've been making some upgrades and getting you the content that you need. Today, we talking about the perfect player. The perfect player that was taken at number 4. Now look, if you seen my takes on this player, on social media, or on YouTube, or on playback, I've been very critical of this player.
Shit, that nigga had me scared, but I held my own.
I was tripping. I was wrong. Khan Canippo is the perfect player for the Charlotte Hornets. And stick around in this video, and I'm going to tell you why he's the perfect connector between Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to get into the best NBA content in the game. Run those likes. If you've been watching the content on playback or the spaces on Twitter, the best NBA community in social media right now, which is the Lit House. If you haven't been listening in on spaces and you haven't been watching in on the playback, you're tripping. That's on you. It's the best NBA play-by-play, post-game analysis from us, the people that you can get in the game. But if you have been listening to it, you know that I've been highly critical of the Charlotte Hornets for taking number 4 overall pick out of Duke, Khan Canippo. Now look, let me explain myself. Before you rush to judgment, I'm looking at it on draft night in the historical sense of what the NBA has always been known for, which is in the lottery, you take the best talent available. And to me, in my humble estimation, there were guys available for the Charlotte Hornets at that number 4 pick that to me just were overall better athletes and better overall players, which is yet to be seen, than Khan Canippo. You had Ace Bailey there. You had Trey Johnson, Jeremiah Fears, guys that I feel as though could add instant pop into that Hornets offense, especially dealing with a team like the Hornets that is often dealing with injuries to their star players, LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. I just thought that Ace Bailey and Trey Johnson, if one of those guys went down, could step up into a star role for this team and carry it if need be. Luckily for the Charlotte Hornets fans, they didn't listen to me. The front office, led by Jeff Peterson and head coach Charles Lee as head coach, they decided to not listen to the old law of the NBA by taking the best take available. They decided to draft for need. Now look, we've seen in the past this blow up on a lot of teams that refuse to just take the best player available on the board at that time in the lottery and choose to go towards need. It hasn't always been pretty results, even in Charlotte. Do y'all remember Adam Morrison? Exactly. But in this situation, I'm going to tell you why I think the Charlotte Hornets are absolutely right with this pick after watching Khan Canippo during this summer league. Look, man, Khan Canippo is the perfect connector. He's like an extension cord that connects all the power cords in the room, and he makes them work. In LaMelo Ball, you have a fantastic, saucy, innovative 6'7" guard with an offensive bag as deep as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. In Brandon Miller, you have a 6'9" shooting guard / small forward that is somewhat limited with the ball in his hands off the dribble, but is a three-point marksman and an athletic demon downhill. When you have two guys like this, that the offense, or the defense, I should say, can take time to make sure that those guys are taken out of the game by running bracket coverage, throwing extra bodies at them like we saw last year at times, especially if one of those guys are injured. You need a guy that is a pressure release valve that can hit big shots, make the right play, and shoot the three at a high percentage. And what better name early in the first round, as the mock draft stated, than Khan Canippo? Khan Canippo's first game in the NBA Summer League left a lot to be desired. He made people like me and other people like the scout from the Utah Jazz that you see here, who actually had Khan Canippo rated behind Liam McNeely. He made people like us feel like we were solidified in our takes. That was on me. I jumped the gun. I know a lot of times YouTubers don't want to say when they're wrong because they're worried about their reputation, and a lot of people in NBA spaces, period. But I'll be the first to say, that first game that we saw from Khan Canippo in Summer League, it was more of an outlier, not a trend. I think he was suffering from nerves and suffering from the fact that the speed of the game and the athleticism of the game had sped up versus what he had faced in college. He took a game off for injury. By the time he came back for Game 3 against the Dallas Mavericks in NBA Summer League, he was a new man. A lot of the same athletic limitations that I saw on film and we saw at the Combine, they still reared their head. But what also reared his head is the IQ that Khan Canippo was not only born with, but developed being the son of two former college basketball players. Khan Canippo showed an ability in this game not only to weather the rough storm of the first game and a half, but also an ability, even when struggling with his shot, to compete on both ends of the floor. Time after time in that first half of that Dallas Mavericks game, we saw Khan Canippo compete on the defensive end. Even though his athletic measurements would say that he probably would not be an elite defender, because of his IQ and his effort and his willingness not to quit, he's always in the right place. And he's always got his arms and hands in passing lanes, which leads to deflected passes and steals with the ball going the other way. If you're not an elite defender in the NBA, on-ball defender in the NBA, what you at least want to be is a good to great help defender. Because if you struggle in one-on-one coverage, if they're able to put you in a zone or put you in the backside of that man and screen you off where you switch off, you can always be effective if you stay active, if you stay alert, and you're willing to try to play defense. Khan Canippo showed us that in Game 2 of his NBA Summer League appearances. Not only that, in the second half, Khan Canippo went from a guy that looked like he couldn't hit the side of a barn with a cannonball to a guy that could hit a field mouse from 5,000 yards out with a deer hunting rifle. He started hitting shot after shot after shot, and that form that everyone raved about coming out of Duke, it started to show his presence in this game. Khan Canippo not only showed us what his shooting percentage was in college, which was 41%, that it could travel to the NBA. He also showed us an ability to pass the ball and handle the ball in traffic, something that detractors like myself were concerned about heading into this NBA season with the Charlotte Hornets. This game was not an outlier. He doubled down against the Spurs, and later on in the semifinals of the playoffs, the first playoff appearance that the Charlotte Hornets will be in and have been in their entire existence for NBA Summer League. Speaking of that, if you would like to watch that game, that will be available tonight on our playback. So make sure you pull up, not just tonight, but throughout the regular season. Me and DKM will be playing volleyball on playback, watching all of the Charlotte Hornets games and a lot of NBA action live as we're partnered with Playback. So make sure you get over to Playback right now and follow the channels and shoot us a note so we can send you a VIP pass so you can watch along with no copyright infringements and watch some of the best analysis and NBA action in the game. Back to Khan Canippo. Khan Canippo continued his trend that we saw against the Dallas Mavericks, against the Spurs, and against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, if you look at his shooting percentages during the Summer League, 33% from three and 41% from the field, That doesn't tell the whole story. He got off to a real rocky start at the beginning of Summer League, as I talked about earlier. Now that he's settled in, we're starting to see him shoot percentages like 44% from the floor and 41% from three that looks very identical to what he did in college. After seeing everything that he provides as far as highlight reel passing, heady defense, elite shooting, and an ability and a want-to with a high motor to never quit, why do I say he's the perfect connector for LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller? When you put these guys on the court and defenses decide they're going to take one of them away, a lot of times last year, the Charlotte Hornets did not have an answer to respond to bracket coverage being ran on LaMelo and making Brandon Miller put the ball on the floor. Now with a guy like Khan Canippo, it opens up the option, just like we're seeing in Summer League, to run flare screens, to run elevator screens, to run some 77 sets with LaMelo or Brandon Miller, hide Khan Canippo in the corner. And as we've seen in this Summer League, he has an ability to knock down that short corner three at a marksman's level. To me, Khan Canippo is going to open up the offense in ways that LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets have not seen in the last 6 years. Khan Canippo, without a doubt, will be the most elite shooter in my estimation that LaMelo Ball has ever played with. That's right, I know Seth Curry played on this team. But my ceiling for shooting for Khan Canippo versus Seth Curry, being as though Seth Curry is a finished product and Khan Canippo is just starting out his NBA journey, to me, no disrespect to Seth, but at 6'6", I'll take the 6'6" marksman out of Duke, not the other kid from Duke. No disrespect. With that being said, I say to myself, is Khan the most elite shooter that LaMelo will ever play with? Because remember, the Hornets doubled down on what was once the number one rated shooter coming out of high school, Liam McNeely, who has been recently rated as the third best NBA prospect that is shown at NBA Summer League. Because of tendonitis, Liam McNeely has had to been shut down from Summer League, which has allowed Khan Canippo a bigger opportunity to shine. Charlotte Hornets fans, look, I've had some great takes here on this channel, but I've also had some bad ones. I'm here to tell you that Khan Canippo, if coached right and put in the right position, may be the piece that the Charlotte Hornets need this year to help them go from perennial lottery ticket to potential play-in, or did I say playoffs? Make sure y'all run these likes up and tell me what you think down there in the comment section below. We love talking about the NBA. We love talking about the Charlotte Hornets. We love giving you the content that you need. We appreciate you all for rocking with us. Let us know what y'all think about Khan Canippo. Was he the right pick at number 4? And is he the perfect connector between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller? Make sure you share this video, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. You're in the house of the mighty.